Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida has become one of my favorite places to go to, and this is coming from a Disney adult whose happy place is Disney World. But I think I found a second happy place that brings me joy and happiness, while also letting out some thrills and fun times. Now, while I usually go to Universal for Halloween Horror Nights, this recent trip was a family cousin trip that was a fun and painful. Yes, I said painful, as 3 straight days of Universal rides kind of broke me a bit. However, through all the pain, I found myself having a great time and wanted to not leave. But this trip wasn't just to spend time with family. Oh no! If you're following along, then you might know that a new ranking is among us, as I love theme parks mainly for the rides. And Universal is well known for their thrilling rides. All 3 main parks from Universal Studios, Islands of Adventure, and the brand new Epic Universe have some of the best rides in theme park history. Back in 2023, I made a list of my favorite things to do in Universal Studios Florida, but this was prior to Epic Universe being open, and it was also my first time ever going to the park. So in honor of my 4th time going to the park, and to celebrate a late 35th anniversary of the park itself, I'm going to rank 10 of my best rides in Universal Studios Florida. Now, as always, there are some ground rules. The rides must be currently open or at least open to some capacity. So if we're expecting Jurassic Park River Adventure to be on this list, then well, you will be disappointed. It is currently closed until November because of a huge refurbishment. So there is a chance the ride that I once loved might be totally different when it opens up, which is why sadly I couldn't include it on this list. Well, enough with the chit chat. Let's ride with the movies and enjoy the thrills, and let's count down the top 10 rides in Universal Studios Florida. Now, I don't usually do this, but I have to include an honorable mention before the list, as the current ride is closed as of right now, and I unfortunately haven't been able to ride this ride due to a lot of reasons of controversial. But Stardust Racers has had one hell of a first year since Epic Universe has opened. It is considered by many as the best ride in Epic, and one of the best rides in Universal, as this dual launch dueling roller coaster has had its ups and unfortunate downs, as the ride found itself in the news with a very unfortunate death back in August of 2025. But most recently it has closed due to repairs and had its reopening a date pushed back due multiple times due to it having issues. Once it does open, I could finally rank it, but only time will tell also when I can actually ride the ride and when it will open again. But for this purpose, I wanted to give it some love, as yes, I haven't experienced the coaster yet. I still think that had I had experienced it, it would have been on this list, and many people love it so much and call it their favorite. So I want to give it some love and justice and give it a proper honorable mention, despite it not being able to have ridden yet. So now, without further ado, we could continue on with the list. If you're going to Universal and don't do this ride, then that itself is known as a crime. E.T. Adventure is an OG classic dark ride that opened back in 1990 when the park first opened. This is one of the last remaining original attractions to be opened since the park first opened back in June 7, 1990, and has been a fan favorite for many. Now, while the ride itself is based off the sci-fi classic, the first half of the ride is more of a quick synopsis of the most iconic scene of the film, where E.T., Elliot, and his friends fly in the sky with their bikes. But soon after, you enter the Green Planet and help E.T. revive his friends. This cute little ride isn't the most thrilling ride in the parks, but it still has so much love and appreciation from guests, and it shows, as the average wait time for this ride is 25 minutes. It sometimes even goes up to 40 to 50 minutes on Universal's busy days. Do I recommend waiting almost an hour for this ride? Well, it depends on how you feel about the ride itself. In my opinion, I'd say no, but it does have great air conditioning and has a pretty sweet queue that has a great sense of nature in there. Maybe it honestly is worth the wait, to be honest. Like, more because of the queue and the detail work they went to theme this ride and its queue, but Also because the smells of this ride is pretty sweet. Also, I will be mentioning wait times for each entry just because it's needed going to Universal. Disney, it's different. If you, I guess it depends how you see it. Anyway, get back to the list. This is a cute little family ride to do on your vacation, in my opinion. But there are rumors that the ride is going to be heavily detailed refurbishment in 2028, which, in my opinion, it truly needs, as the animatronics in this ride are very dated and it needs freshen up. But also, it will keep the ride more fresh for guests since there have always been rumors that the ride will close, and if it does, Spielberg himself is pulling many contracts, and well, we don't. That wouldn't be good for Universal. We don't want that. So a refurbishment over a ride closure is definitely a lot better. But also, this ride is just a cute little ride that it's an OG. Who wouldn't want to love it? I get to finally talk about Epic Universe. This is actually pretty sweet. Start off with this ride though, as this is one of the more unique rides in Universal, as it is a roller coaster that has a vehicle attached to the extended arm, so it looks like the ride vehicle is making huge leaps, and that itself is great detail and a great key addition to why it's one of the best rides in the parks. Minecart Madness opened with Epic Universe back in 2025, and it is considered one of the park's e-ticket attractions. And I can see why it's a fun roller coaster ride, as it has a max speed of 30 miles per hour, which isn't too bad in my opinion. But that itself, it's just a ride, the way it looks and the way it goes, it's very pretty cool. Very pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Let's get back to the list. Now, while the coaster itself is perfect for the whole family, I recommend doing this ride in the middle of the day, or if you're lucky and do rope drop, then early in the morning, as the wait times for this ride can go up to 2+ hours, and its average wait time is around 100 to 110 minutes. Which is kind of ridiculous, but at the same time, it's not, considering it's an e-ticket attraction. Now, if you didn't know by now, the ride is centered around the Donkey Kong franchise, and everything on this ride looks really perfect, as the theming and the set pieces look astonishing well. Feels like you are in the Donkey Kong video games, but it also just looks authentic to the land's theming. The ride's queue has a pretty cool Cranky Kong animatronic that you get really close to. But again, if you get stuck in this queue for over 2 hours, then yeah, you're gonna be hearing the animatronic in the audio for a long time, and you're gonna be near it for a while, which honestly can kind of get annoying. I've seen a lot of videos on this. It's not fun. But take out the negative side of the ride, and you have yourself a fun little coaster that some would say is worth the wait. I'd say some, because again, it's a bit crazy to wait over 2 hours for a 2 minute long ride, but I have done worse. I've done Tron, and I waited over 80 minutes for it. But anyway, My Kart Madness, pretty cool ride and a great addition to Epic Universe. When you head to Diagon Alley in Universal Studios, the first thing you will see is a 60-foot fire-breathing dragon that is perched onto the building that holds one of the most beloved rides in Universal, Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts. Gringotts is more than your average roller coaster, as it is a 3D motion dark ride that makes you feel like you're in the Harry Potter films. But unlike most 3D motion dark rides in Universal, this one, as said before, is a roller coaster that is pretty tamed and perfect for the entire family. Now, obviously, I can't talk about this ride without talking about the ride's queue, as it is an amazing themed queue that makes you feel like you are in Gringotts Bank from the Harry Potter films. The animatronic bank tellers, or in this case, trolls? Question mark there. Look incredible and are very detailed from their movements and their entire look. They look very realistic, and it's very shocking that these creatures aren't just little people in costumes. Now, as far as the ride itself, it has some great moments from the beginning where you are attacked by Bellatrix to the finale where you escape from Voldemort. The ride uses screens and the roller coaster track very well, and it makes you firmly believe that you are in the film. Now, there is one downgrade that I have to talk about with this ride, and that's the wait time, specifically during peak hours. The ride itself has an average wait time of 30 to 45 minutes, sometimes 50 at best, and I understand why. It's one of the best rides in the park. But when it maxes over 75 minutes, sometimes 2 hours, is when the ride for me is not worth it. Now, don't let me say that and get you scared to not do this ride because it's a great ride. You need to experience it. You just wait it out or just plan it accordingly. Because in my eyes, if you do this ride during off-peak hours or even like when the park first opens or even 6 p.m., the ride itself is a decent wait time and it's a must-do. I honestly think if you plan your trip accordingly, you can ride this ride about 3 times because I did that. And sometimes it was a walk on. In the end, this is a must do attraction and one of the best rides in the park. Oh, we're still with Harry Potter. Interesting. Harry Potter and the Battle of Ministry is a really great ride. The ride's queue alone is beyond perfection, as the entire queue looks like Ministry of Magic, and it's very detailed, from the golden statues to the way they have every painting coming to life. It's beyond detailed at this point. And more, it feels like dedication was put in to keeping this ride and everything in it feel like it's in the film. Now, there is one thing about this that I do need to talk about. Elephant in the room. We mentioned it before. The long wait times. And this ride always has it. Epic Universe is fresh and new, so obviously high wait times are going to happen. But over 3 hour waits is insanity. I love this ride and got lucky to get on it with Express thanks to my siblings' disability pass. But waiting almost 3 hours for a ride is insane. With average wait time 120 to 130 minutes, if you do plan doing this ride, plan it accordingly. Go during off peak hours, or even if it's like an 80 or 90-minute wait, 120, 130 is fine. I mean, if you want to wait 2 hours, it's fine, but you can get through the line in 70 minutes with an 80 and 90-minute wait. And but still, again, I don't want to scare you guys with the wait times. It's just a great ride. They're all great rides. It's just plan it accordingly. Now, as far as the ride itself, it is a dark ride. It uses both screens and audio animatronics throughout the ride, and the detail work for the animatronics are incredible. The Death Eaters animatronics are really incredible to the movements, looking so incredible that they look like there's an actor that's making these movements. But it's not, it's just great work from Universal's Imagineer team. And that can be said about the huge elephant. It's a creature with a big ass horn. The creature is massive, and its movement is limited, but the way it interacts with the ride vehicle and the screens are incredible. That's also another detail I like with this ride, as in some scenes, you can't tell what's on the screen and not on the screen. As the truly feels like everything around you is real. Honestly, if the wait times for this ride was much lower, then I probably would have had this ride in a higher entry. But that's my one takeaway from the ride, as yes, it is an insane high wait time for this ride. Plan accordingly. In the end, this is one of the best rides Universal has ever created. If you ever do a trip to Epic Universe, I recommend you start the day in the Isle of Berk because of its theming alone and detail work, but also because it holds this amazing ride. Hiccup's Wing Gliders is one of the more authentic roller coasters in a Universal that it's not just perfect for the whole family, but I would say can be a roller coaster you would want to ride over and over again. If you love the How to Train Your Dragon franchise, then this ride and the entire land in general is for you. The ride's queue is cute with small details of Hip Cup's invention, but it's on the ride that what makes it amazing. First off, the score from the film is in the entire ride, and to ride around while hearing John Powell's score is perfection. But then there's the Toothless animatronic. He is adorable and big, and if you do first row for this ride, then you get to be very close to the Toothless animatronic. Toothless then launches you, and you go on a max speed of 45 miles per hour before stopping and being launched again before the terrible terrors explode. It truly feels like you are flying with Toothless and the rest of the dragons on this ride, as the entire experience is incredible. Now, we do need to talk about the wait times, but it has outstanding wait times for this one, averaging at least 35 to 45 minutes with a max wait time of an hour. But even so, it's worth the wait, as it's a great ride, and honestly, doesn't feel like you're on a long wait time for the ride. The ride itself is incredible. It's a great roller coaster. It's kind of big, but it doesn't feel big, but still, it's amazing. It's such a great ride. The whole Isle of Berk is cool, and yeah, shout out to Universal, but also shout out to DreamWorks. Islands of Adventure holds one of the best 3D motion simulator rides in Universal, as the amazing adventures of Spider-Man is an S-tier ride that has been entertaining guests since the park first opened back in 1999. You know it's an iconic attraction when you win many awards and consecutively win these Golden Ticket Awards for Best Dark Ride for 12 consecutive years from 1999 to 2010. Damn. Just like E.T., it is also an OG in its park and as an adventure, and I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon. The main story for the ride is actually one of the best in all of Universal rides, as guests turn into reporters for the Daily Bugle, as they try to capture pictures of Spider-Man, but things go south as they get caught into the lair of the Sinister Syndicate, and now it is up to Spider-Man to save the guests. The ride uses both screens and physical sets to bring this action-packed ride to life, and is done very well with great illusions, intense moments in the ride vehicle, but most of all, one of my favorite things in Universal rides, fire! I'm a huge fan of the fire in Universal rides, leave me alone, but I'm also a huge fan of the Spider-Man franchise and animated series, and this entire ride did justice for the animated TV series. Plus, it wouldn't be a Marvel or Spider-Man ride without a few cameos from the GOAT himself, Stan Lee. The ride is a must-do for whenever you visit Lands of Adventure, and many can agree that it is one of the best rides in Universal. Now, as far as wait times go, because we do need to talk about it, it usually averages around a half-hour wait time, but even if it goes up to a longer wait time, it's totally worth it. Now, even if it is a long wait, the ride's queue is totally incredible, as it makes you feel like you're in the Daily Bugle, but it makes you also feel like you're in an animated Spider-Man TV series. So for me, that's a huge added bonus to my experience for the ride. I honestly think if you don't ride this ride on your next trip to Universal, then you're crazy, because not only is this an OG ride in Islands of Adventure, but it's a great ride that doesn't feel like it's 25 years old. It still feels fresh and new. That's how you know this is one hell of a ride. While I hated this ride experience because it broke my whole body a bit, and I have always dreaded to ride this ride due to the inversions, immersions, and going upside down above water, I still did it and survived. And I will acknowledge how great of a roller coaster it is. The launch roller coaster at Islands of Adventure has been making guests screaming for more, not me, but for more, for only 5 years, and it has quickly become one of the most iconic rides, not just in Universal, but all over the world. The entire ride is massive, as it is 4,700 feet with a 140-foot drop, with a max speed of this roller coaster ride is intense, and it goes up to 70 miles per hour. Now you may be wondering, why did I survive this ride, or how? How did I survive this ride knowing that I hate inversions, going upside down, and going onto rides with huge drops? I wish I could tell you, but all I remember from that ride was cursing at my cousin and feeling my body jerk each time I went upside down, and then that drop. I felt my soul leave my body. But again, it is a great ride that I didn't love, but yet need to have on this list because it's an incredible ride with a legacy that will grow bigger over the years. Now, knowing how popular the ride is, you'd think the ride would have a high average wait time. But shockingly enough, it's usually an hour, sometimes 70. And it makes sense to why it has much of a wait time, because people love this ride and know how great it is and how intense it is, and yet they don't care. Some people ride this ride multiple times, sometimes all day. I can never understand how, but at the same time, I get it. Hell, the max wait times for this ride can get very intense, over 2 hours long, on very busy peak hours or days, and yet I still think it's worth it because it's one of the best rides in the park, and it shows. I probably won't do it again, but if I ever do, then just know it's because it's a great ride. That hurts, but it's a great ride. in Universal. Universal knew what they were doing when bringing this ride to the park. Confrontation was an attraction that was costing Universal a lot of money due to the high maintenance and many issues the ride system had. Due to all of this, Universal decided to finally close the ride forever and replace it with the Mummy franchise. And while some guests at first didn't take the news all too well, since Revenge of the Mummy opened, it has become one of the most popular rides in Universal. The enclosed roller coaster has a max speed of 40 miles per hour and has some pretty cool moments, from counting the tomb of Emo Top to being under a ceiling of fire. Revenge of the Mummy is an action packed ride that has been leaving a legacy with guests for over 20 years. Actually, the ride is so incredible that they had to retire a Golden Ticket Award due to the ride constantly winning the award. Now, I can't just talk about the ride without talking about the ride's queue. The queue for this ride literally makes you feel like you are on the set of the Mummy films, while also being a part of the cursed tomb that is being cursed by Imhotep. And all of this can be seen with the ride's pre-show, beginning with the moment where Reggie, a character that they've added into the show, is getting into this freak accident and becoming trapped into a prop. You also get to see behind the scenes look of the film, so that's pretty cool as well. The ride's queue is very spectacular and detailed, and it even holds a golden gorilla, which plays homage to Confrontation. Now, you would think a ride like this will probably have a long average wait time, but shockingly enough, it has a fair wait time. It usually averages over a half hour, and max average wait time is over an hour, but it's a fair wait time for this ride, and it's definitely worth the wait. The ride isn't going anywhere anytime soon, as the Mummy franchise is coming back to theaters in 2028, and the ride may become even more popular thanks to this. It's one of my favorite rides in all three parks, and honestly, I can easily do this ride all day and never get bored. Regarded by many as the most popular ride in Universal, Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure is one of the best rides in the park, and it shows as the ride's wait times are massive to begin the day. They average from 90 to 110 minutes with a max wait time over 200 minutes. It at one point had a 1,000-minute wait time when Universal back, back when we returned from COVID. But, but just from that alone, you can tell how huge this ride is. The Harry Potter themed roller coaster has 7 launches and a max speed of 50 miles per hour. The ride opened back in 2019 and has become the greatest ET attraction in Universal's history, as guests who enter the park in early admission or rope drop rush to this ride to do this ride in Islands of Adventure. And it's crazy how popular this ride is, as it doesn't have inversions, loose or an extremely high drop. What makes this ride so popular is the love for Harry Potter, but also the roller coaster itself is just an incredible ride that needs no introduction. I have literally seen this ride go down. I think I mentioned this in my older video. And I'm not kidding when I say this. When this ride went back up and running, a storm of guests rushed the ride, and the wait time went from 60 minutes to 170 minutes in seconds. I want to understand why Universal guests love this ride so much, but honestly, I kind of get it. It's based off of the Love franchise, but it also has a lovely vibe to it, from riding on Sirius's motorbike to seeing some creatures from Hagrid's collection. This ride is simply a love letter to the Harry Potter films, and honestly, it's an incredible ride. Would I wait 2 hours to go on the ride? Probably not, but sometimes you need to be risk. You need some risk in your life and say, fuck it. When can I say I experienced this ride again? Because, without a doubt, this is the best ride in Islands of Adventure and one of the greatest rides in Universal Studios.
The doctor will see you now. This is fun, yes?
Sometimes a high wait time doesn't make your ride the best. Sometimes 15 minutes is a wait time that holds possibly the best ride in the park. I'm also kind of biased for this ride, considering I rode it 5 times the first time I experienced Epic Universe. And I love the ride prior to this. And this ride is my favorite ride in Universal. I'm biased, leave me alone, this ride's the best. Monsters Unchained is a motion dark ride that is set after the events of the classic Universal Monsters, as the attraction is centered around the classic monsters and includes them in the best way possible. The audio animatronics on this ride is breathtaking to see. They are all incredible looking and have some pretty great movement. From the pre-show Frankenstein's monster to the wolfman that tries to attack you in the middle of the ride, each animatronic is so incredible and you get so close. Like, you get mad close to these animatronics. So each time you ride this ride, pay close attention to the details because they are fantastic looking animatronics. Not only is this ride and the animatronics incredible, but then there's the theming. Oh my lord! The theming for this ride, from the ride building to the queue to even the ride itself, is perfection. I literally feel like I was in a Universal Classic Monsters film back in the 1930s. And I mean, I love horror. But the ride alone has my love for horror in this entire ride. There is no question how great this ride is, as I can literally ride this ride about 24/7. And I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't mind living on this ride for the rest of my life. Now, I mentioned the wait time for this ride is usually 15 minutes, and the actual truth, the average wait time could go up to 20. But even so, the ride can be an 8-hour wait, and I wouldn't care. I wouldn't even give a shit. I still think it's worth the wait because of how incredible the experience is. This ride is barely a year old yet at this point, and man, did it win over my heart. It fucking is incredible. All right, you have Danny Elfman working on the music for this ride. You have so much detail put on this ride. The ride vehicle feels like you're on a forbidden journey, but it's more tamer. It's so great. The way they use screens and animatronic, and it feels like sometimes it doesn't feel like the screen is an animatronic. Sometimes it just looks like there's an animatronic. It's fucking done perfectly. This ride is so great, and fuck, I love this ride. God damn, I knew going into this, making this list, this was gonna be my favorite, and I wanted to try and see if other rides could beat it, but nothing can top it. It's the best ride in Universal. And again, it's only been out for almost a year. Insane. If you go to Epic Universe, do this fucking ride. But make sure you do it in daytime, in the middle of the day, at night. Do it 100 times if you could, because it's so fucking amazing. Now, before I end this video, I do want to give a huge shout out to my cousin Jared. Without Jared's idea of going to the park, I wouldn't have made this list. But also, this was our first time going to do a vacation or a cool little trip together as like a little family, as a cousins thing. But my cousin's also going to the army, so I want to give him a huge shout out and give him some props, but also wish him good luck when he does go in the end of April. Probably by the time this video comes out, he'll be able to see it before he goes. So, Jared, if you're watching up to this point, congratulations, buddy. You're gonna do great. Kick some ass. And most of all, be safe. Also, if you ever make me go on fucking Velocicoaster again, I will fucking kill you.